Hey, this is Cassie, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.
Shout out to Blue Blood Sports TV.
You're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.
Shout outs to Blue Blood Sports TV.
You're watching Blue Blood Sports TV. Hola, habla Cindy, está viendo Deportes TV.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, can Anthony Joshua regain his status and get back into the good graces of the heavyweight division? Could he beat Andy Ruiz Jr. in the rematch? Could he do something that a few fighters have done? Legendary fighters such as Joe Louis, such as Lennox Lewis, such as Vladimir Klitschko. Could he do that? Could he regain his status as they did? You know, we saw Joe Louis lose to Max Schmeling. You know, we saw Vladimir Klitschko lose to Corey Sanders, and we saw Lennox Lewis lose to Hasim Rahman, and we saw Lennox Lewis lose to Oliver McCall. But all of these fighters did something. They regained their status, right? Lennox Lewis then went on to defeat Oliver McCall, but it was 2 years later. He defeated Hasim Rahman, you know, and Vladimir Klitschko, you know, we saw him eventually go on a 10-year reign as a champion. We saw Joe Louis. We obviously know who Joe Louis is, right? And what Joe Louis has done for the sport of boxing. So can Anthony Joshua accomplish such a feat? Can Anthony Joshua be one of these guys that, you know, legendary, you know, come back and reform their career and get their career back on track and, you know, let that just be a hiccup, a bump in the road, so to speak, you know, for their career. You know, Floyd Mayweather put so much emphasis on the O that a lot of people feel like, you know, a loss is the end of your career, which is truly not the case, right? We saw greats take losses. Muhammad Ali, obviously, right? Joe Louis was on an absolute tear, you know, before he lost to Max Schmeling, right? And Max Schmeling at the time was 48-7-4. You know, Joe Louis was undefeated. He ended up getting KO'd in the 12th round of a 15-round fight. Max Schmeling ended up winning that fight back in 1936, right? In June of 1936. Joe Louis then came back. He went on another undefeated streak, you know, after taking that loss to Max Schmeling. You know, he regained his, went on another streak, then ended up knocking Max Schmeling out in the first round back in 1938, right? So he regained, and from there on, Joe Louis, you know, he went on a mega tear from there on, right? Before the next time he lost to Ezra Charles. That was in 1950. So he lost back in 1936. You know, 14-year reign he went on before he took another loss, and that was in 1950. So he went on a 14-year reign, you know, before he took another loss. And he ended his career as 66-3 losses, right? The last fight of his career came at the hands of Rocky Marciano in 51, and that was the last time we saw Joe Louis in the ring, right? But he ended his career at 66 wins, 3 losses, 52 knockouts. So Joe Louis went on an absolute enormous tear in the sport of boxing, right? So, you know, it's definitely possible. This is something possible for Anthony Joshua to do. Am I saying that Anthony Joshua is Joe Louis? No, I'm not saying he's Joe Louis. What I'm saying is we've seen this before. It's not impossible, okay? It's not impossible, okay? We saw Lennox Lewis was on an absolute tear. He was the WBC undefeated champion, Olympic gold medalist, right? Then got in the ring, stepped in the ring with Oliver McCall, who he was a heavy favorite to beat Oliver McCall. Oliver McCall at the time was 24-5, right? Lennox Lewis got in the ring with Oliver McCall. He got knocked out in the second round by Oliver McCall. At the time, he was undefeated, Lennox Lewis was, okay? So he got in the ring with Oliver McCall, got knocked out by Oliver McCall in the second round. In the fight, he was highly favored to win. Lennox Lewis then went on a tear, right? and took him 2 years to get Oliver McCall back in the ring, but he regained titles. He revamped his career. He went on an absolute tear before getting in the ring. So he got knocked out by Oliver McCall back in 1994. He then went on a tear and didn't lose again until he had a loss, obviously, to Hasim Rahman. He got KO'd in the 5th round to Hasim Rahman, who was 34-2. And once again, Lennox Lewis was favored to win that fight. You know, so he went on the tear himself, you know, before losing again 7 years, right? And then he ended up, you know, going on an absolute tear, regaining his titles, became the lineal champion, and became undisputed, and ended his career with a record of 41-2-1, 32 knockouts, right? He was undisputed and was the lineal champion, okay? So he revamped his career, and the fights that he lost, he was highly favored to win those fights as well. He ended up beating every man he faced because he ended up getting Oliver McCall back. We know the historic meltdown Oliver McCall had in the ring. So he was able to get Oliver McCall back, and then he knocked out Hasim Rahman after being knocked out himself. Okay, then we move on to Vladimir Klitschko. Okay, Vladimir Klitschko was on an absolute tear himself, right? Well, he lost to Ross Prudy early in his career back in '98, but before that he was on the tear himself until he lost to Prudy, a fight that he was heavily favored to win. Prudy at the time was Ross Purity. I'm saying Prudy. Ross Purity, right? He lost to Ross Purity, who was 24-13-1. Vladimir Klitschko again was highly favored to win that fight. He got TKO'd in the 11th round of that fight. He then revamped his career, went on another absolute tear before he suffered at the hands. See, this was 1998 when he lost to Ross Purity. Then he went on another absolute tear, and he didn't lose again until 2003, that being at the hands of Corey Sanders, another fight he was highly favored to win. Corey Sanders was 38-2. He got knocked out in the 2nd round by Corey Sanders. Rest in peace to Corey Sanders. Then he went on, he had a 2-fight comeback streak, and then he got knocked out in the 5th round by Layman Brewster. Okay? He then revamped his career, went on an absolute tear, regained his titles, went on a 10-year run, defending his titles, okay? So, you know, and then he ended his career with a loss to Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. But, you know, he went on an absolute tear, revamped his career, and got his get back, you know? So, and all of these guys lost to guys who they were highly favored to win those fights. So is it possible that Anthony Joshua can revamp his career? Absolutely. It's yet to be seen. The difference is, you know, most of these guys, they didn't go right back into a rematch with the guy they lost to. They built their confidence back up and then eventually took on the guy they lost to. But in this case, Anthony Joshua is seeking an immediate rematch, or as Anthony Joshua's promoter, Eddie Hearn, seeking an immediate rematch with Andy Ruiz Jr. So let's see how this plays out. But is it impossible for Anthony Joshua to revamp his career? No, it's not, especially when you're talking about and you're dealing with the heavyweight division. So I can't wait to see how this plays out. But that's all I got for y'all, man. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think, man. Can Anthony Joshua revamp his career like some of the greats from yesteryear, Lennox Lewis, Joe Louis, and Vladimir Klitschko? Can he do that? Can he do what Joe Louis, Lennox Lewis, and Vladimir Klitschko did? You know, they lost to guys who were they were highly favored to beat. They revamped their careers, and they're Hall of Famers. They're legends in the sport of boxing. So can Anthony Joshua achieve such a feat? Let's see. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think, man. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed? Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shouts out to the entire LDBC. Shouts out to New Media. Shouts out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Blue Blood Sport TV, baby, from the Empress. Much love.